Welcome to Pass or Play, the game show where we get to decide if this video game is worth a play or you should just give it a pass. Our first contestant is...
Serve delicious.
I have a tendency of picking up cheap, random games from sites like Chrono.gg, rest in peace, Humble Bundle, places like that. I've always been a fan of games like Cooking Mama for the DS, and I figured something with the name Cook, Serve, Delicious could be an interesting PC game with a similar theme. It's not. It's nothing like Cooking Mama. Let me break it down for ya. Cook, Serve, Delicious, or CSD as I will now call it for my sake, is a video game by Vertigo Gaming about running a restaurant. The initial premise of the game is honestly hilarious in a dystopic way. You start out in a building called Sherry Soda Tower in a rundown old restaurant that you're tasked with rebuilding. After a quick tutorial, you're informed that you will work from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m.? A 13-hour workday every day? When am I supposed to sleep? When am I supposed to eat? It's a health code violation to eat while cooking. Where's my union rep? I want to speak to the manager. Oh wait, I'm the manager. That's pretty much all there is to the story. Make food, manage restaurant, profit. Now, how does it play? You can either play this game with your keyboard and mouse or a controller. The menu screen has a cute little option to choose what type of controller you have so the button inputs match correctly, which is nice. That being said, I hate playing this game with a controller. I can never remember which stick is which and what shoulder button to press and which one is A and Y, and my brain just doesn't like it. I switched to keyboard and mouse after like 20 minutes to save myself. Now, the keyboard controls are a little better, but not by much. It's a lot of clicking unless you're a very skilled touch typist, which I am not, and it involves moving between the letters and arrow keys a lot if you do use the keyboard exclusively. There is some customization, like changing which letters go with which ingredient, but you can't use the arrow keys as a substitute for letters, and you only have two options for which key is serve: space or enter. I desperately wanted to make serve right-click because it would have made the game flow so much more, but I couldn't. Not the worst variety for options, but there's definite room for improvement. Unlike traditional management and simulator games like the Diner Dash series, you have to cook all the food you serve. I use the word cook lightly because it doesn't really feel like cooking at all. Each meal is more like a micro game a la WarioWare, where you have to quickly cook or assemble the food in question. In the early stages, this involves dropping fries and chicken into the fryer, putting 2 condiments on a corn dog, making a salad, pouring a drink. Riveting gameplay. Later foods get more involved, like beating a piece of chicken exactly 6 times or it's ruined, chopping up different ingredients to make one bowl of soup, making lasagna by stacking layers of ingredients in the same stupid order every single time with no variation or any effort involved other than pressing the same 4 buttons over and over and over and over and... CSD can get a bit monotonous. The mini-games for making each meal don't really change from day to day or level to level, though you get new foods and special dishes over the course of the game. Some foods can be upgraded to provide a few more options or have more value, like the drink machine, which you can upgrade to serve jumbo-sized drinks and add flavor blasts, so your customers can come in and order a jumbo ice water with flavor blast. Because that makes perfect sense, of course. Who orders a water without a flavor blast? Do you? I don't. Gotta have that extra water taste! Running the restaurant itself has a variety of factors, such as switching up what foods are on the menu to prevent menu rot, where people get bored of the foods you serve and stop coming to the restaurant, and the occasional rainy day bonuses. However, the variation in foods is so minute and the number of foods you actually need to run the first restaurant so little that doesn't really matter. I guess there are chores throughout the day, but at least for the first star or so, that just consists of washing dishes, setting mouse traps, and throwing out trash. Otherwise, for the first 20 days or so, you just cycle through the same 6 to 8 foods over and over, and you get the picture. And you heard right, folks. I said the first 20 days. That's how long it takes you to get a 1-star restaurant in this game. 20 days. And I know in real life it takes much longer to move up in the restaurant world, but here's the thing. This is a video game about playing microgames to run a restaurant. You have to meet a series of requirements to move up to the next star level, all the way up to a 5-star restaurant. For getting the 1-star restaurant, you have to, among other things, have at least 10% buzz, easy, serve 4 foods in one day, impossible not to do, pass a safety inspection, not the worst depending on what you serve, purchase 6 foods or drinks for your menu, basically required, get 12 times perfect combos on 3 separate days, a little trickier, but not the worst. These are the requirements I more or less get. It's the first restaurant. It's a learning curve, sure. Safety inspections make sense. They remind you to pay attention to chores even if they are boring. Serving and buying different foods is important to expand your menu, and you need to do these things to succeed. These are reasonable requirements to what should more or less be a tutorial level on managing a lot of things at once. What I don't get is requiring the player to both earn $100 in tips and play through 20 in-game days before they can move up in the world. Why is this a thing? Why is this a thing? It's hard enough to earn tips when people only tip like $2 and only on certain foods, and you can't even get the tip jar immediately. You have to wait a day for it to unlock, so there's already a small time barrier. But forcing the player to meet both a monetary requirement and a time requirement is ridiculous. I got the $100 in tips well before I hit the time cap because I tried to only serve food that pulled in tips. But that didn't matter because I still had more days left on my countdown. I ended up just serving easy crap until the clock ran down so I could at least see the one-star restaurant. If the only barrier was some form of earnings, I could understand that. Encourage players to serve more expensive foods that risk average or even bad orders with the promise of potentially higher earnings and a faster progression, or take the slow and steady route with foods you know you're comfortable with and can make consistently well. At least that would feel a little rewarding. But nope, locked out by a timer. And here's the real kicker. That 20-day requirement is on every star. Yeah, every star. You can't escape it. It's honestly just padding to make the game look and feel like there's more to it, to stretch out the playtime instead of adding more variety in gameplay. It took me at least 3 hours to slog through the first 20 days of gameplay, serving the same foods, doing the same chores, smashing my head into the same keyboard. And sure, once you get past the first star, a few more options open up, like catering events and some weird dating thing that apparently never works out and is just a way to earn money. Iron Cook challenge crap, some weird investing thing. But the thing is, I honestly don't feel like slogging through another 3 hours of gameplay to experience it. The challenges may add some variety somehow as you progress, but the initial impressions look like it's more of the exact same microgames but under a time limit. There's nothing really new, just more repetitive button pressers. I could complain about how unrealistic it is to have to keep changing the menu in a restaurant where a menu is kind of expected to be stable, barring a daily special. I could joke about how the health inspector doesn't seem to mind when I accidentally feed people raw chicken, or the shocking amount of day drinkers I encounter in the first restaurant. Seriously, people, it's not even new. Calm down. This is an office, not a club. But the thing is, this game is so boring, it doesn't really seem to matter. I don't care anymore. I don't care about all the achievements or serving thousands of customers or unlocking all of the recipes. This game was such a hassle to record because it's just so boring. I will say to the game's credit, the music isn't terrible. I like the aesthetics the graphics give. It's by no means a AAA, ultra-realistic, amazingly beautiful kind of game, but it's cozy. I like the slightly sketchy look and the overall impression. I'm aware that some people may like this kind of gameplay and the achievement hunting or the frantic microgame pace, but I just don't. I have the attention span of a cat, and the monotony of the recipes is just not appealing to me. This is a game for folks who like memorizing inputs, frantic button pressing, and an almost rhythm style of gameplay. If you want to play a QuickTime button clicker, go for this. But for me, this game is a pass. I'm gonna go play Cooking Mama, where I feel like I'm actually making food. Do you have any games you want to know if you should pass or play? Leave a comment down below and maybe I'll check it out and do the hard work for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye!